Hey, Bill.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for working with Ask Ascension this morning. Most people know you as Bill Schneider, Grayson and Izzy's dad, but you're also been very active in leadership here at Ascension, particularly with this resume thing. So let me make a few comments, and then I'll kick Ask Ascension to you. So to our audience, Bill works with the group that we affectionately call the Worker Bees, but technically they're the Resume Logistics Task Force, and they're doing all the detail. How long are our pews? How many people can we have in the building? What are protocols for making sure people are safe? That's one of four teams, that are working on this: the Resume Logistics Task Force, the Resume Task Force that's studying all the data, the Congregation Council, and the staff. So we have a lot of people looking at this. Our goal is to make sure that when we return for worship, for congregational life, that what we offer is both safe and meaningful. So we've asked Bill to answer the question about how we're thinking about moving forward with the possibility of returning to worship live. Bill?
Well, thank you, Pastor. Appreciate it. Happy to be here. And I'll share that the results and the sort of the culmination of all of the research and process work that these teams have done will come to fruition when we do 3 pilots in the last 3 weeks of August. So we're going to involve ushers, volunteer ushers, greeters, members of the task forces, and members of church council to physically have 3 worship service where we can test out all the protocols that I'm about to share with you. So before I go into how the worship service might work, let me just give a sense of some of the fundamental principles and sort of worship rules that we've put together, and we're going to see how they work. First of all, face coverings will be required anywhere on the property on Sundays outside of your vehicle. It's very important for everyone's safety that we all wear face masks. Access to the church will be only via the front door. The back door will be locked and closed. This helps ensure that we have proper flow of folks. The capacity of the sanctuary will be limited to 50 people per the CDC and state guidelines. However, for these tests, we're not going to come anywhere near 50 people. We're going to keep it really small, make sure we know how to do this. It'll be about a couple of handfuls of people. The seating will be every other pew in the church, and within a pew, groups or individuals will be sat 6 feet apart. So you'll get assigned seats, actually. You won't get to pick your own seat and sit in your usual place, which will be hard for me, I know. There will also be, for safety, acrylic barriers put up between the worship leaders, the pastor on the altar, and also in places where you'll interact with the greeters on the way into church. We will have, to facilitate all of this, we will have 2 ushers and 2 greeters, and I'll describe in a second how you interact with them and how that will work. So those are sort of the protocols. So let me give you a walkthrough of how the service might go. You'd arrive at church in your car, you put on your mask, get out of your car, and proceed to the front doors of the church. At the front doors, you'll meet a greeter who will help you queue outside the church as we control traffic inside the building. Once you are welcomed into the church, you'll hang up your clothes or your coats or whatever you need to put in the
coats only, Bill, no clothes.
Clothes on, hang up your coats, and you'll proceed to the second greeter, who will be seated at a table right outside the sanctuary doors. That person will ask 4 things. First, they're going to ask you to affirm that you are prepared to church per guidelines that we'll put out. And this is stuff that you'd expect. Are you healthy? Have you been anywhere bad? And all these things to ensure that you're COVID free. Secondly, the person will give you an opportunity to present your offering at that point, because we won't be passing an offering plates in the church. Third, the person will give you the opportunity to wipe your hands with hand sanitizer. And lastly, and importantly, the greeter will check you in electronically, so we have record of your attendance should we need that in the future. Hopefully not. That's the greeter. And once you're done with the greeting station, you'll be passed on to one of 2 ushers who will assign you a seat and escort you to the seat in the church, ensuring distancing throughout. Should you need to go to the restroom will be open, and that's all it's going to be open. So the intent here is that only the restroom and the sanctuary are open on these Sundays to prevent wandering around the church and improper social interaction that could be dangerous. If you need to go to the restroom, the usher will be at the back of the church and will assist you in doing that. You will also become an expert at self-sanitizing. So we're going to have proper sanitizing sprays that you will use in the restroom after you're complete. When the service is over, you will be exited row by row, again, to maintain distancing by the ushers. And if we have communion, communion will actually be held outside of the church in the, what's that called?
In the foyer.
And this is all to prevent a lot of passing during, there's really no good way to offer communion in the church without people passing each other. So the final act of the church service will be communion as we leave, one by one or group by group. And after communion, you will be asked to promptly leave the front door and proceed back to your cars. Now, we do know that we're a social bunch here at Ascension, so we fully expect that folks will want to talk to each other, socialize a little bit, and that's fine as long as it's done off the sidewalks, outside, on the parking lot, or in the grass, and keeping masks on and maintaining social distancing. So these are the fundamental protocols. I think I've captured most of them. We're going to give this a shot for 3 weeks in a row, kind of adding things each week to make sure we've got the basics down. And our goal is to be ready whenever the church is ready to return to church. And we'll give you an update when we're done with the tests. Sound fair, Pastor?
Sounds absolutely fair. Bill, thanks to you and to all the teams for working so hard on this. It sounds so onerous to do this, step by step by step. But that's why, right, we're doing these practice tests to say, how do we do this so that people feel welcome and feel safe and have a meaningful worship experience? So we're going to try this out on some folks who are willing to be tested on. And then I think, Bill, it's safe to say we'll report back to the congregation once we've done our 3 pilots. Yep. To let them know how that all went. So, Bill, thanks so much. It's always good to see you. Please say hi to Grayson and Izzy, who I like better than you, but you knew that, and to Kristen also. And have a good day. So we'll be in touch with everybody, and thanks for asking Ascension.